Hello.
Okay, guys. All right, we're getting ready. Okay, we're on live now. Yes, we're on live now. All three of us are on.
All right.
Once again, welcome everybody to Rolling with the Punches TV. Today, regrettably, my our co-chair Jaime Ochoa had a prior commitment. He couldn't make it to today's show, but we have a great guest. We have former world champion Mike Achondo. He was in 2005 the junior lightweight world champion, WBO world champion at 130. And I believe also, Mike, what I was reading, you were the first champion Oscar de la Hoya Golden Boy ever had, correct?
That's right. Yes. I
Yeah.
appreciate that. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, well, it's a great honor. But before we get to you, my co-host David Trujillo, manager, CEO, and founder of House of Pain in Temecula. If you're looking for a good gym to take your kids, to take your family members to train, go with Dave Trujillo. He's not only a trainer, and he's not only a trainer and also a friend of the kids and the participants, but he's a great mentor. And not only a great mentor, but he's also a man of God, a man who has great principles, great ethics. So remember, if you're looking for a gym in Temecula or in the Riverside area, go to the House of Pain. That's the place to go. Without further ado, Champ, welcome to the show. And this show is about you. We're honored to
Wow.
have you. Thank you very much.
Well, if there's anything, Dave, it's some. If there's anything that I love, it's anything about me.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you for
Yeah.
having me on the show. I really do. Thank you, Dave.
Yeah. Dave, you have a question. Go ahead.
Well, I just want to say it's finally nice to formally meet you, even though it's on Zoom. I've seen your fights down at Saboba Casino, and I'll tell you what, down here in Riverside, South Riverside County, man, I mean, and all over the world, you were a big fan favorite, man. Every time that you came out, the crowds just went wild, and you brought a beautiful heartbeat out here. And we miss it, we loved it, and we're happy that you're here with us today.
Well, Dave, you know what? Just like you mentioned, you miss it and I miss it too. I love. If there's one thing that I did love, it's performing for the crowd. That was always in me ever since I was young. I started when I was 5 years old.
Yeah.
So I love boxing to for the first time I probably started walking and then they started teaching me how to box right away.
Hey, champ, my father used to say, and I'll never forget that. May you rest in peace. But he used to always say, if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. And
Never.
yeah. And you know what? I was a cop for 32 years. And being a cop, I never worked. I would have done it for free. They don't know that. And you know what? The
Fantastic.
same passion that I had, I see it in your eyes. I can
I
see it
love it.
in your voice that during from 5 years old to the time you retired, you never worked a day in your life. You
I'm gonna tell you
loved what
what.
you did. Yeah.
Oh, Dave, I'm gonna tell you one thing, Dave. Like I said, I love. I'm never ever gonna. I mean, I'm always gonna be involved in boxing no matter what, whether it be teaching, whether it be maybe fighting. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe doing commentating. Maybe coming on the show and hanging with you and Dave.
Exactly.
I love
Yes.
that. I love that. I just want to engulf myself in the world of boxing in itself because you know what? I was made for this. I love boxing. I love talking boxing and chatting about it.
Hey, champ, knowing that since you started at 5 years old, I was reading your bio, and your dad. Well, first of all, as growing up, who did you admire? Who was your hero growing up? And your father, who was your father's hero or your family member's hero? Boxing
My
hero,
well,
boxing
my
hero.
my grandfather, my father, his hair, he liked the Ezra Charles and like the Art Aragons, and it's so through boxing we were able to meet Art Aragon, and
Wow.
not Ezra Charles but Art Aragon, and he was honored, he was in awe.
Uh-huh.
But me, who started me off, had to have been the first boxer who I remember seeing, and till this day I still remember the image of him, Muhammad Ali.
Mm.
Muhammad Ali. And
Wow.
you know what? He was, and he still is, in my eyes, the greatest. and he calls himself the greatest. And you know what? I'm gonna say it. You know why? Because he didn't just box, and he was a great boxer,
Mhm.
but it was everything outside of the ring that he stood for. He carried boxing with him throughout his giving, and that just makes me want to do the same.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which
Go
is the
ahead,
reason
Dave.
why now, which is the reason why I teach the youth, and I promote boxing in any way possible that I can now. Even if I'm not involved in anything, I still promote it in every way because you know what, boxing saved my life. So I want
Yeah.
to do. I want to. But it's gonna be forever a part of me. There's no doubt
Yeah.
about it.
Most
Boxing has
definitely.
saved more lives than it will ever take. And that's a beautiful thing.
There's no
Yeah.
doubt about it, and I agree with you, Dave. I do. It's brought so many individuals in my life that I would never have the wildest dreams of meeting or opportunities in my life that I would. I mean, I lived the dream,
Yeah.
So I have to always thank and praise the sport that gave that to me,
Yeah.
and I will.
Hey, champ, where did you grow up at? Did you grow up in the Los Angeles area? Where did you grow up at?
Okay. Here's the thing. I grew up in La Puente,
Okay.
but half of the time that I was living in La Puente, I was in East LA, in at the Hollenbeck Youth Center. I was at the the jail, the LAYC jail. The Eddie Heredia Boxing Club. All those are East LA. Uh, Amateur boxing gyms that are still here.
Yeah.
They're strong gyms. So I grew up in East LA / La Puente.
Yeah. Did, did you see boxing basically? Did it basically save you from becoming a gang member? Did it save you from getting involved in drugs, or because I'm sure a lot of your guys that grew up with you went that way. They either went to gangs, they went to drugs, or a lot of them also made it. Probably have their masters or bachelors and so forth. But did boxing help you?
I'm gonna tell you one thing, Dave.
Mhm.
If boxing if boxing wasn't in the limelight, I'm not sure if I'll be here to discuss this with you. Period. Like or anywhere,
Yeah.
because boxing taught me how to really use my time the right way. And I used it for a great cause, for the sport in general. And most of the time I was getting ready to compete, or I was out competing. I I was not. I was in the nationals. I was in the. You know. I,
Yeah.
I was everywhere. So boxing saved my life. Boxing saved my life. It did.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it, Dave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Go ahead,
Yeah.
Dave.
Hey, chap, I got a question for you. Your
Your turn, Dave.
the second to your last fight, you fought Mauricio Herrera.
Yeah.
I did.
Uh, I'll tell you what was that like? I mean, you beat him, and I watched Mauricio Herrera come up too, and to see him get beat by you was amazing. And then he went on to his career and he ended up getting better and better and better, and actually got in some classic wars.
Did a
So
great
how
job
was
for
it when
himself.
you in the ring with him? How did that work out with you in the ring? You were the master, of course.
I appreciate that, Dave. Thank you.
No.
First off, let me tell you this. This was the setup. They notified me 3 weeks prior to that bout. 3 weeks, and I had luckily been in the gym, and they said 3 weeks. They said 3 weeks we could fight this kid Mauricio Herrera. He's undefeated. It's an 8-round fight. Are you ready? At that time, I had been training with Justin Fortune, and we were training, coming from a win, and we had just got back in the gym, and not just got back in the gym. We had been in the gym, and they had called us. We're ready to go, and I mean, we exchanged tapes and all that. Whatever, he knew he could find my tapes on the
Yeah.
internet and all that. Of course, but we got his tapes as well, and I said I could beat this guy. I know I could. And my trainer, me and my trainer worked very hard, and at that time, we got up to the fight, and I didn't see myself as an underdog, but a lot of people didn't understand the abilities that I had at that time. So
Mhm.
they saw me as the B side, I guess you'd say, or whatever. I don't, that A side, B side junk. I don't even play that game, but
Yeah.
that's kind of what they had me on, the B
Mhm.
side of it, or whatever.
What a
And
mistake.
yeah, what you know what? They don't know how much I love boxing and I love the sport. They don't understand, and that's why when it happened, and I did it, and I fought, and everybody's like this with their jaws dropped, and they're just like, what? I just I just wanted to show that boxing's gonna be, it's the love of the sport. It's not because I think I want to get paid for this guy, or because I think this is a great, it's gonna be on TV, or none of that stuff. I just love to box. So
Wow.
of course I'm gonna take that opportunity, and I did what I did, and that's why the you saw the results, because that was just me doing my thing. That was me for the love of the sport.
Hey,
Yeah.
Chip, I didn't get to see that fight. So tell me about it. Was it a 12-round fight, 10-round fight? Did it go
it
the
wa-
distance or was there a knockout?
it was an 8 round fight.
Oh, an
It was
8-round
an
fight?
8 round.
Okay.
Yeah, it was an 8 rounder.
Mhm.
And it went the distance.
Uh-huh.
It was he was tough. I'm not gonna say that it wasn't tough, but I got off more of the punches than I did. You could see in the fight, there wasn't really much done to me, and there was a lot done to him. I'm not knocking him. I'm
Yeah.
not saying anything. I'm just saying, you know what? I did more of the punching, harder punches. I landed more of the harder punches, I think, and that's what ultimately got me the nod. And he was tough. He's very tough.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. He ended up winning the championship of the world after that fight anyway, right?
You
I
know what?
believe he
I
did.
don't think he ever won a championship. Well, he beat Danny Garcia. Did you see that
Okay,
fight when he fought?
I
He
did.
beat him, but he lost it. The judges,
Yes.
yeah, the judges gave it to Danny Garcia. They
Yeah.
fought in Puerto Rico,
I
but
heard about
he
that. I
beat
heard
Danny
about that.
Garcia, right, Dave? He beat Danny
Yes.
Garcia.
He
Yes, he
beat
did.
Danny Garcia.
Yeah, yeah,
No,
Yeah.
no, I
yeah.
saw the fight, but I heard about what the scores were and stuff like that, and it's just
Yeah.
interesting,
Yeah, it was. It's very sad because you know what? He would have been a world champion. I don't think he ever won a world champion, but I'm telling you,
I,
he's a
I,
great fighter. That's
no,
why
no,
there's a reason why they call him El Maestro, right? There's a reason why. The teacher, El Maestro.
yeah,
Yeah.
you know what, he was tough. He was
Yes, he
tough, and the
was.
time,
And he
the
is.
time, oh yeah, yeah, and at the time that that I had fought him, the reason why I had beat him is because of the style, you know,
Mhm.
and the styles,
Style makes
like this is
fights. Yes.
exactly, and
Mhm.
that's what happened there. Is he came on forward, and it was kind of like the bull and the matador, and it was
Yeah.
a great fight. It was.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Hey, Champ,
Yeah,
what is your most memorable moment in the ring? Other than, winning the championship, what was the most memorable? Let's put it this way. What is your most memorable fight? That when you think about the fight, that it was rock'em sock'em, it was all out. Which fight comes to mind?
man, you ask these questions, and you have to remember, these guys are knocking my head around. How am I going to remember any of these times? No, okay. From what I can remember,
Yeah.
I want to say, and I know Dave is gonna nod his head right now because he's a follower of my fights, and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say the Goyo Vargas at the Olympic Auditorium. That fight there was one of my standout fights, aside from winning the championship of the world, of course. But that fight there, I gained many fans from that fight.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was war. That was war for sure. That was in
lot,
2003,
yeah, a
the
lot of
Olympic.
people. I was the underdog, Dave. You know that.
You know what you know I don't understand why boxing did that. But you were the underdog on a lot of fights, and you got
Yeah,
all
dude.
of it. It's like what I mean, what does it take for you to believe this guy?
Oh my
You know,
gosh! Thank you, Dave. Thank you.
I mean, the record now speaks for itself, but back then everybody always underestimated you. I saw you as a beautiful athlete. I mean, you were always in shape. You look like a bodybuilder getting ready to
I
go
work
for a
very
shot.
hard.
Yeah, and it's like I don't understand, but you know what? You gain more fans and you earn so much more respect because they were always underestimating you, and
Yeah,
you
yeah.
came out on top.
Oh, Dave, what? I appreciate that insight because it's true. It
Yeah,
is true. I went out and um, I'm a crowd pleaser. When you have booze and you have, all the naysayers and all that, it gets to you a little. But what I do in turn is when I see that happen, then it makes me want to work harder and turn them into my fan. Because you know what,
Mhm.
Dave? That's ultimately, I'm a crowd pleaser. I want to say, you know what? I want this guy. All right, there's a view that you have on me, and I want to change that view for you. So I do. When I perform, and that's why I perform the way that I do. And I take great preparation in my style because I want to be able to look like one of those boxers that they like watching, or say, I want them to say later on, they want them to look and say, remember that guy Michael Chondo? You know what? This guy can box. He had such style, such finesse. That's what I wanted. That's what I want to always bring to the table when it comes to a boxing match.
So, champ, so when you were up there and the crowd was booing you for whatever, you're at the opponent's home, you literally in your mind as you're getting ready to box with this guy, you're thinking, I'm going to win this crowd over. That thought is
Dave,
actually going through your mind, or is it just let's
no,
get it on?
no doubt about it in my mind. Like I said, Dave,
Uh,
I'm a crowd pleaser, Dave.
really? That's
Ever since
awesome.
day one, Dave.
Yeah.
Since day one, I've
Uh-huh.
always I've always had it in my mind that I want this whole gym or this whole stadium or this whole wherever the amateur boxing was held at that time. I want this whole room to be cheering for me at the end of the day because I want to please everybody. That's just how it is,
That's
Dave.
awesome.
That's how
Yeah.
my mind is. So
Yeah.
so of course I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna be a showman. I'm a showman.
Yeah.
I'm a true showman, and
Uh-huh.
and I really take it. I really take it to heart when it comes to trying to make everyone happy. Make everyone happy in the show.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Well,
champ.
hey,
Win or
Dave.
lose. Win or
I
lose. Win or
I
lose.
can attest to that. I'm a witness to it, and I validate that.
I
Yeah.
appreciate that. I appreciate that, Dave. I do. I do. And that means a lot to me because that's something that I've always held, very close to me is being able to step into an arena or into a ring, excuse me, and perform the way that I prepared and please the crowd. That's exactly what I want. And
Yeah.
and 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 boxing, gentlemen, it's a show. It's a show, and a lot of
Mhm.
these fighters, a lot of these young fighters, not a lot of some of the young fighters, I should say, they don't understand that. And I think that it's a show. You gotta be able to go in there and not just try and go for the one punch knockout and just annihilate on. This is a show, gentlemen.
Mhm.
We're showmen. We have to go in there with some pizzazz, and that's something that I wanted to bring to the table. I wanted to come and I wanted to show my footwork. I wanted to show my the flashy bobbing and weaving and and the great combinations that I worked on very hard in the gym.
So, champ, Dave has a couple of up and coming world champions right now, and he's going to hopefully start managing them pretty soon. So,
Yeah.
is that the advice that you would give him? Number one, be disciplined. But number two, enjoy what you do. And number three, remember it's a show and treat it like a show with respect. Is that what would that be the advice? What advice would you give David's future fighters?
No, just
Oh,
what you had said, Dave.
current
Just what you
fighters.
had said. Yeah,
Uh,
just what you had mentioned. It is a show. Uh, you know, I'm gonna tell you one thing, Dave. After most of my fights, I would make my way into the crowd and I would talk to the fans. I would just fully embrace the event. I
yeah,
would fully embrace it because you know what? Right then and there, when I was on the winning side, usually I'd go in the crowd after and I'd want to talk to the crowd and I'd want to embrace the whole event, the whole
yeah,
event. And I'm not lying about it. You could ask the people who went. Most of them will tell you I went into the crowd afterward, and that's something that I would recommend you do, Dave, is to one, just what Dave had mentioned earlier, is make sure that they understand it is a show, it is a sporting event, and it's not a fight. That's what I want to bring to the table
yeah,
all the time, is that boxing is not a fight, and that's what the general public needs to know. That's why boxing is a sport.
mhm,
So a lot of people get behind a fighter because they think a boxer because they think, oh, he's my fighter, and we're gonna fight together. No, it's a boxing event, and that's something that we as boxers, professional boxers, need to help the general public and the boxing fans understand, is that at the end of the day, win or lose, I'm gonna go do my best, and if I win or lose, I'm still gonna go home to my family.
yeah,
I'm still going home to my family. I'm still gonna go watch the TV that you could be watching, and turn to the channel that and I'm gonna do the same thing as you. So we're 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 all the same, guys. We're all the same.
you know,
I just like to hit other
yeah,
people,
and not
and
get
that's
hit.
my and I get it, and that's the difference, and that's the
That's right.
difference.
That's right. Champ, you just brought something up, and Dave, I'm going to share this. I know we're on live right now, but he just brought something up so great that I don't know if they've ever had one, a boxing symposium for future boxers and current boxers. And the champ would be a great speaker to talk about, the showmanship, the professionalism. I think that, you know what, maybe after the show, when once we're off the air, we could talk about that, and maybe we could have it right there in Temecula, Dave. The first boxing symposium for future boxers, and we bring in retired, and former boxers like our champ to come in and give advice to these young fighters. Remind them, hey, listen, it's a show. We're here to please the people, and without the people, we don't get paid. So we
That's
are
it.
we are the people, right?
That's it.
Yeah,
That's it. And Dave, like I said before I mentioned, and I'll mention it again. Just
yeah,
I'll just continue to carry it. Is that, yeah, it is a show, and you know what? The crowd is it. So after the fight, like I said, we have to fully embrace them like our
yeah,
own. You know,
yeah,
they're our friends. These are our friends. These are, this is, to me. I would actually, there'd be crowd. Oh, can you come over here and take a picture of me? Yeah, great, great, great. I said, and then there'd be like, there was one time where there was like a volleyball team that went very, very nice. Oh, Mike, how you doing? I shook all their hands and said, we're gonna have a game next week. If you could just stop by, and of course I can. I went by. I stood the whole
yeah,
game. I just wanted them to understand that I appreciate them going to my event, and I'm gonna stay for their whole event as well, so that they understood my appreciation. And you know
yeah,
what? It worked out well. It worked out
yeah.
well. They loved it.
That's wonderful.
Champ, it's so beautiful to hear this
Yeah,
because in our gym, we practice a lot of humility. We practice self-respect. We respect for others, and we are high on that. We are representation of who we are. We're the House of Pain. We walk in, we shake everybody's hand, we show everybody love. We do what we do in the ring. That's what we do in the ring. But when we come back out, of course, you know, there's always that mutual respect and that humbleness. The humbleness gets us further than what you could imagine. And
No
that's
doubt
how,
about it.
you know, and I love the fact that when a boxer can be humble and be on top, but be such a winner of other people, you know, just out of being humble, no matter how high he is in the game. It's just amazing because the fan base, they attract to that so much, and you see it so much with the humble fighters out there. We get the arrogance out there. Of course, we're going to have all that or what have you. But, you know, that only works for so long because there's somebody out there, I'm going to mention his name. His name is Adrian Broner, who is a typical,
I kind of predicted that.
Arrogant, you know, and when he lost, everybody was happy he lost. Nobody cared to see him come back. Maidana did a job on him, and you know what? He deserved that. So that's why I try to teach my boxers to come in with some humility and come in with respect, because whether you win or lose, you're always going to have the respect and the humility.
It's a sport, just like we were discussing earlier. It's in the sport, in the name of the sport, and you have to treat the sport like a sport. Like you don't see these guys in golf, you know, punching each other after or kicking each other after because they, you know, they get a hole in one, the other guy missed the ball. You don't see these guys in basketball, you know, because they got packed or something. I mean, they got blocked. You know, these guys are gonna push each other afterward and fight. No, come on, these guys are gentlemen, you know, as much as they could be. And now, mind you, I'm not saying that they haven't done it, but like we have to treat boxing, let's veer more to the golf ethic. You know, we got to treat boxing more like that. You know, just get it with a little more prestige. You know, we're not barbaric in there. Boxing is a sport just like all these sports, so why not treat it that way?
Jeff, I have two questions. First question, number one, you had a lot of trainers or several trainers throughout your career, from the amateurs, from being a little boy to being a world champion and after being a world champion. Which one of the many trainers, I know they've all made a positive difference, but when you think of one trainer, which one comes to mind and why?
Okay. I appreciate that question, David, and I'm going to tell you two trainers only because I always have to give thanks and praise to my amateur trainer, who is Joey Olivo. Always have to, because you know what, he started me, and you know what, he raised me to the professionals.
Yeah.
But Joey helped guide me, and he taught me the right way. And if it wasn't for Joey, there wouldn't be no Mighty Mike, of course. You know. Now, with that being said, you know, Joey, like I said, he led me up all the way up to the professional. And then I had many good trainers. You know, I had, you know, multiple trainers, as you mentioned earlier, Dave. I had I trained with Buddy McGirt. I trained with Roger Bloodworth. I trained with Noam Martinez. And you know, I trained with them guys, you know, and they taught me something. I'm not gonna say that they didn't, but there was one trainer that I always give praise to to be the head trainer, the best trainer that I could say, not the best trainer, the one who taught me the most. I'll say that, and that's Chato Manuel Robles. And I forever give praise to him because he was an old school artist. That's what he was. And he knew his stuff. And a blessing in disguise, because he got me to a record of 15-0 with I believe it was 13 knockouts at that time that I was with him.
Well, right now we just Jaime Ochoa just came on live. Thank you, Jaime, for coming up.
Yeah,
welcome back to the show.
What's up, Jaime?
I'm sorry I'm a little late.
Jaime,
How's
how
everybody
you doing,
doing?
Jaime?
Good, brother.
All right, Jaime. It's finally good to have you on, man. We were talking about you earlier. So where's Jaime at?
Yeah, Mike, I was listening a little bit just a little while ago before I got on, and I remember when you first started coming on the scene when you were with Oscar, and I was at all the fights right there that he had at Soboba,
Okay.
and I remember you fighting over there a lot.
I'm not sure if you heard, but I was the Predator, but that's what they used to call me.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember also that that Javi Mora was on a lot of your cards back in the day.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Javier was, and he was also a stablemate of mine. Chato trained him as well. And you know what? Javier Mora, he was a good boxer. He was a good boxer. He had a lot of potential.
He had a lot of potential, man. I had some good times with him.
You're gonna say what I'm thinking.
Oh yeah. You know, yeah, I know what you're saying.
He could have been champion of the way. He should have been champion of the world. And you know what? I said, I believed in Javier because I saw his potential that he had in the gym, and I saw what he did, and I saw what my old trainer Chato had him up to, and I said, you know what? This guy's gonna be the first Mexican champion of the world. Yeah, really. I thought he was
from La Chona. From La Chona.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? I really did. He had the tools, brother. I mean, he was pre Chris Ariola. He had that power, man, that I think Andy had, bro. He had that eye of the tiger, man. He just, unfortunate circumstances, I guess, but I love watching him fight.
You know, life, man, life. And a lot of people, they shake their head. This guy could have. And you know what? Whenever someone says that about a boxer, I look to them and I say, well, then why don't you do it? If they can do it so easy, well, then why don't you do it? And then why don't you just get in there and do that?
Yeah.
Hey, Mike, do you still have contact with him?
You know what? I'll see him every once in a while. So that's the only really contact with him. I had his number. We changed numbers. We lost our numbers. We did all this. So, but every time I see him, it's like if it's like we stay in contact all the time because he's that good of a friend of mine.
I was wondering if maybe you can get a hold of him for us, so we can have a little one of these little powwows right here before the Chris and Andy fight to see what his thoughts are on that fight.
If I can,
because I know he sparred Chris quite a bit of times.
Oh, I'm sure he did. And if I can, I'm gonna point him your guys' way.
Awesome. We would like you on it too.
Oh, you know what? I'd love. I told these guys I want to be a guest host all the time with you because if there's one thing that I do love, it's talking boxing.
Boxing, yeah.
I love it.
Right on.
Go ahead, Dave.
Did he also train under Manny Robles?
He did, yes. Which is
so
interesting.
I could get a reach out to Manny Robles and I can see if he has any contact for him.
I'm pretty sure he well, you know what? Manny, he's gone through so many fighters and there's so much. I'm not sure if he'd be able to contact them, but you know what? I shouldn't say that because Manny, I'm sure there's some type of contact. There's some type, and you know what? Now that I'm a part of the show, and now that I'm gonna be always on the show, you know what, guys? I'm gonna go get the contact for you. Don't worry about it.
That would work.
Yeah. Hey, we're partners now, so
that's right.
I'm gonna help you guys out.
hey, champ. The second part the question was this: Canelo is a world champion, and you know what? He's getting better every fight that he fights. But one of the things that I've heard him say, and I've heard other people say about Canelo, that number one, he's gifted with the right proportioned body. Number two, he's a great fighter, but the discipline that the young man has, the discipline. They say that he'll take 1 week off and a week later after his fight, he's back in the gym again. He very rarely drinks, very rarely takes anything that is illegal, but the guy's disciplined. Knowing that we have a lot of young fighters watching our show, what advice would you give them regarding the discipline of being a professional boxer?
What you just said.
Yeah.
Don't drink. Don't go out. Don't party.
Yeah.
Go to the gym. Do that. Live, eat, sleep, think boxing 24 hours a day.
Man.
Hold on. Hey guys, real
Do
quick,
that.
Go,
I
go ahead, Jaime.
want to show you something, guys.
Let's
My
go,
boy Rich
Jaime.
right here, man. He's a chef and a half. Look what he got
Oh,
there.
look at that. Oh,
Rich, where's this coming from? Come on, I'm part of the show now, Rich. You don't know that?
Come on now, brother.
Come
Got
on.
plenty.
yeah.
Bring
Thank
it,
you, brother.
bring
God
it.
bless you, man. Thank you.
Walker's first fighter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway,
So
I just want
now,
to make you guys jealous real quick.
oh, you did. Now we're hungry. Now we're starving.
Oh gosh. I'm over here waiting for it. I want to go to the screen right here and get me a piece.
Yeah. Hey, champ, right now, who are your top 5 fighters right now?
5?
Yes.
Jeez. You know what? The thing about it, this pandemic has got my boxing off. Everything. So if you ask me my top 5 right now, I can only say Triple G. Triple G, and I've been wanting to say that for a long time, and I've been wanting to bring that out, is Triple G is a different fighter right here. And the way that he shows his fighting abilities. There we go. I'm here. I hear you. I hear you. There we go. All I hear is music. Sorry,
Yeah,
guys.
Jaime was walking by.
Yeah, I know. I saw that. But Triple G is showing me a lot. Chocolatito. He's still. I know.
Flavor, baby.
Look. Just because he got the loss or 2 doesn't mean anything. I have 3 losses. Doesn't matter. I'm not gonna say anything. You know, that's all right. Boxers lose, guys. We gotta understand. We gotta us general public. We lose to the general public. You don't write off a fighter automatically just because he loses his matches, his boxing matches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, however long. If you still want to be his fighter, don't do it for his losses. Do it for the reason why he's going in, that he's getting in the ring. He's performing for you. That's what we need to always understand and learn, and that's what I want to help teach the general public is boxing. We're in there just like you. We're there to do our job. We do our job. Clap your hands. That's what we love. That's it.
Yeah. Hey, champ.
So
go ahead, Dave. Go ahead.
So Dave, real quick. You had said that you wanted me to tell you. I can't hear you. I don't know. Something's coming interfering.
Five best fighters right now. Triple G, Chocolatito.
Triple G, Chocolatito. Okay. You have he just fought. Joe Sanders. No, he's gonna fight. I've seen that as Billy Joe Sanders, and he has some coming to him, and of course there's who just fought just recently. Those are just 3. I know I just named 3, and I'll think of the 2 right now. But keep on going, and then we'll come back to that after.
Go ahead, Dave. You had a question.
Yeah, champ. What you just explained about fighters and boxers having losses. Us true fans, the true trainers, the ones that have actually have boxers and actually been in the ring, we all know that there is no such thing as a complete paper champion, because Ali, Frazier, Foreman, all the forefathers came up. And you know what? That showed true boxing at its best. And it didn't count them out when they lost. It only counted them back in because we knew they were coming back. And it's so sad nowadays how everybody wants to write these guys off the second they get a loss. To me, they become even on a higher echelon when they come back into the ring and they redeem themselves. So the fighters that don't allow them to fight again, or they don't put the clause in their contract, is really sad. and that they'll avoid that fight again because they feel they've already been there and done that.
Yeah.
Well, I say they get off their high horses, and I think everybody should have a rematch clause, regardless, no matter what, some way, somehow. That's
Why
my
not?
thought.
Why
Yeah.
not? Why not?
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, this guy came into the ring without the belt, and he won the belt. So why not give usually there is a clause for a championship fight, but let's just say a really good boxer against another really good boxer with a great record, both great records. They always got to have, if it's a great fight, why not have it again? Why not have it again? Why not enjoy it again? The boxers, I'm sure, usually about 90% of the time, the boxers are gonna say, "All right, we'll do it," unless there's something that happened in between throughout the fight that the boxers gonna say, I don't know, this guy kind of hit a
Well,
little different.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I'll tell you, if there was a mandatory rematch clause, the fight that I would love to see would be, Lomachenko against Teofimo. I would like to see part 2 in that fight.
Why
Because
not?
you know what? I think that would be a great fight. And I
Of
think,
course.
yeah, and I think that the end result might be a little different than it was the first fight. But I think that would be a great fight if we could see the rematch of that fight. What do you guys think about that?
I see trilogies, all kinds of trilogies if they start letting this happen. Let
Yeah.
the egos, put the egos aside, allow it to happen, and you'll make more money. I guarantee it.
Oh,
Exactly.
no doubt. Forget about
Hey,
the business part. Let's just do it.
yeah. Hey guys, we were gonna say we've already been on for how many minutes now? We've been on for a good while now, and but to not close the show, but let's talk a little bit about the fights last night. We had some great fights. We have Joe Smith fighting for a title at 175. It was a great fight, and another great fight. There was a lot of good fights on last night, but another great fight was Boots Ennis against Lipinets. And I don't know if you guys got a chance to see him. If you did, give me your opinion on both of those fights.
Serve yourself, or do you want me to serve you?
I saw Boots.
Uh-huh.
Boots is no joke.
He's no joke.
And David, you and I spoke about Boots
Yeah.
a couple weeks ago when we were putting together our top up and coming 5 fighters.
Yes.
And you kind of put him on the radar for me. I started following all his last fights, and definitely what I saw, without a doubt, man, that's going to be a crazy fight. I would love to see him and Ortiz here in the next fight or two. I think they need a fight, before they hit that big name. I think Ortiz needs a win with somebody like him, and vice versa.
I see Boots as the next generation of boxing. I see Spence going to maybe 154 and Crawford 154, and I see Boots and Ortiz. They're going to be at the 147 world champions. I agree with you 100%. I mean, this kid Boots last night, I mean, he was fighting right, left. I mean, his footwork, the kid is outstanding. Plus, he hits like a mule. He's and very humble. Did you see his interview, Dave? I mean, his interview was very humble. And that's one of the things that I always watch when these fighters during their interviews. It's just very humble and just speaks well and very professional. What did you think, Dave?
Well, you know what? The basic fundamentals that this young man has is just phenomenal. I mean, he's thrown a million jabs, he's thrown a million hooks, a million straights, he's a million uppercuts. I mean, his basic fundamentals are so sound right now.
Yes.
And as he keeps on coming in throughout the years, up and coming, I see him as a major opponent for everybody and anybody coming up. This guy has it all. And yes, after that interview last night, I am a fan. The man
Me
is
too. He got another fan.
and he got my heart.
Yeah.
I didn't
What
catch
about
that
you,
fight.
Champ? Did you get a chance to watch it, Champ?
I did. I was just gonna say I didn't catch that fight, but I will definitely look out for Boots.
Yes, Boots Ennis.
Boots
He fights
Ennis.
at 147. He's like 20. He's like 26, 26-0, and I think he's like 26 knockouts. If I'm right, I don't think he had ever gone past the 6th round, right, Jaime? I don't think he had ever gone past the 6th round.
Yeah,
you're right.
Yeah, got great fighter. He's, I think, out of Philly. I think he's a Philly fighter. I might be
All
wrong.
right.
I think he's a Philly fighter. Great
Oh,
fighter.
great,
Yeah.
great.
Knockouts.
Where's he at?
24 knockouts.
24 knockouts. Yeah, yeah, outstanding. What did you guys get a chance to see the Joe Smith fight? He fought at 175. He fought against a Russian Mostikal. I know I'm killing the name, but I'm telling you, it was a great fight. Great fight. Did you guys get a chance to watch that one? Nobody saw it?
I saw the highlights on that one. It was it went 12 rounds. It went to the decisions. Smith got that one. Is that the one we're talking about?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I saw the highlights on that, and Smith, and boy, those guys went at it. I mean, that was a show for 12 rounds from the way I understood.
Yes. I'm a big Joe Smith fan. He's from Rhode Island, and he's a blue collar worker. He works in the as a longshoreman. And this kid, I mean, I saw him when he fought Hopkins, and he literally knocked Hopkins out of the ring. Remember that? When he literally knocked him out and sent him to retirement. And then the fight prior to this, he fought Eleider Alvarez, and he knocked him out of the ring. So I mean, this kid, he has a lot of power. As it was a great fight. To be honest with you, I had it a draw, or else I had it, believe it or not, 7-5 for the Russian. But I was okay that they gave it to Smith. That Russian was he's somebody that's going to be great at that division, 175. But it was, I mean, I was okay with him giving him the win. But it was just one of those fights, and I mean, it could have been a draw. It was a great fight. It was an outstanding fight. Yeah. Great fight.
Just how we were saying earlier about the rematches and all that. Why not put a rematch with that kind of fight right there? You know?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, how about Conor Benn and Samuel Barkley?
Oh my God, that was a great fight, huh?
A blowout. What a blowout! Did you know that Samuel Vargas did not have not one opportunity to throw even one punch?
Yeah. But
he didn't throw one punch.
But you know what, Dave? After watching that fight, Samuel Vargas fought Virgil Ortiz, and he was never the same after. You know, a lot of fights, champ. You know that there's certain fights that you have wars that they scar you for life. You know, there's certain wars that you have.
No doubt about it. You know, I mean, once you get in there and you trade with these guys, the punches that land, the clean, hard punches that land on you, they're gonna take its effect later on, and that's why the sport of boxing is not fighting, it's boxing. And us boxers need to remember that we cannot get hit in there, guys. We gotta move our heads. You gotta hit them and move our heads. But it's, you know, when you get in toe to toe and you guys get into it, it's very difficult to get out of that. Being a boxer, you're gonna want to just go toe to toe. That's a love of the sport. That's love it.
Yeah.
You know,
go ahead, Dave. Go ahead, Dave. Sorry.
I was gonna say, you know, I feel bad for Samuel Vargas that he's been able to get out a little bit, but I think no matter what, I think it was Conor Benn that was on top of his game. He nailed it immediately, and he just did not allow Samuel Vargas to even breathe, and he just kept on him and took him out. I mean, I think if Samuel Vargas wouldn't even fought Virgil Ortiz prior to, I mean, I know he left a lot back there in that ring with Virgil Ortiz, but coming into this fight with Conor Benn, I think it was all Conor Benn.
Yes, I agree with you 100%. Yeah.
The mindset, it was seek and destroy and get him out of there. And he did exactly what he came out to do. He made a statement.
And you know what, Dave? He fights at 147. So now last night was a 147 night. I mean, you got Boots Ennis, you got Conor Benn, and you got Virgil Ortiz. It's a new generation that's coming up.
That's
it's outstanding.
An explosive weight category right now.
Yes, it is.
147's always been, a very powerful weight class. You know, a lot of stars.
Yeah. So outstanding. Well, guys, it looks like our time is up. Any last things? We'll start off with you, Dave, and then with Jaime, and then we'll leave you the last words, champ. We'll start off with
appreciate
Dave.
that.
Anything, Dave? Anything with
Appreciate that.
Grito de Guerra? Anything with them coming up?
Yes, Grito de Guerra, you know, we're starting to set up some things here with them ourselves with a couple of our boxers, Lázaro Lorenzano, who are good friends of ours that we're just trying to assist in getting them some good fights there in the resorts of Mexico. Grito de Guerra is amazing. They're really coming out with high class promotions out there with all the resorts. So we're looking to work with them. We're also I'm co-managing and helping manage Ram, who we had on last week.
Yes.
And we're going to we're going to get Ram out there as well. And we're going to all meet next week at the House of Pain, our gym, with Grito de Guerra, and which is Cesar Garcia and Big Serge Estrada. And we're going to have them spar so they can take another look. And then we're going to go sit down and we're going to see what we can do. So Grito de Guerra, you're absolutely right, gentlemen. If it wasn't for this show and you guys, House of Pain wouldn't even be involved with these guys. But I'll tell you what, we're doing our due diligence and we're doing everything the right way, the way that it should be in boxing. And that's why we get along so well with Big Serge and Cesar Garcia. They're just amazing men.
Outstanding.
Fantastic.
Big Jaime, what do you have for us, Jaime?
I just want to thank the champ to come, coming aboard today and sharing his knowledge and wisdom with us and his foreknowledge. I want to say welcome,
that.
man. I want to say
Hey,
welcome.
you know what? Don't say goodbye because I'm still gonna come back on the show.
No, I said welcome.
I'm a host. I'm a host now with you
That's
guys.
right. That's right.
That's right.
I love this. I love this stuff.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready for it. And you're
Champ,
very welcome.
any parting
You're very
words,
welcome.
Champ?
Now I'm gonna
Yeah,
say this.
Champ,
Dave.
any parting words?
Yeah. I just want to say I thank you guys for having me on the show, for introducing me to my next venture, because I am going to be a host with you guys, and I appreciate this. But
Yes, that's right.
I do want to say this. Going back on my career and being able to focus on the highlights and the enjoyments of my hard work and my dedication into the sport. I always work very hard, and I was always taught to do that. But there was a reason why, and I really didn't matter. I really didn't understand it growing up and all that stuff until I get onto shows like here. And then I'm able to say, you know what? I did all this. And you know what? Being able to say that and being able to have this highlighted to all the people that watch this is just amazing. And I appreciate this. That's one thing that I do. I appreciate all you guys, gentlemen, following the sport. And I will say that I speak for a lot of fighters in saying that they will say the same thing if you did that to them as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. On behalf of Rolling with the Punches, we want to thank you once again for joining us on our Sunday Live every Sunday night at 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Please join us, and also please follow us on our YouTube channel, Rolling with the Punches TV, and hit subscribe and hit like. And last but not least, God bless you and have a great week. And thank you very much.
You guys better hit
you.
subscribe. Hit subscribe. You better hit subscribe.
That's right. Hit subscribe.
You better hit subscribe. And I'm going to see you next Sunday.
That's right, baby.
That's right.
Hey, champ, stay on the line. Stay on the line because I want to introduce you to my son here right now.
No doubt.
All right.